Hey everyone, it's time for me to give my preseason week 3 review. I feel this is the most important part of the preseason as starters go deep into the games. Teams actually kind of run some offensive defensive packages that they'll run in the regular season. It's really time to see what you got. Also, backups are playing to maybe earn a starting role or even make the team. So I feel week 3 of the preseason pretty big. This week I'm going to go game by game because the week 3 of the preseason is pretty big. So let's begin with Thursday night's games. The Patriots at Lions. The Patriots got blown out in this game. I would be concerned though. Tom Brady and the Patriots did turn the ball over a lot. But it looks like the Lions were really fired up for this game. They got a good pass rush from Nick Fairley, Dominican Sue. That's big for the Lions. I feel like the Patriots, although, like I said, they got blown out, I wouldn't be concerned. Tom Brady will get them together. By the time regular season rolls around, they'll have it put together, and they'll be ready to go. In terms of the Lions, this is a great sign for them, though. Coming out winning a big preseason game. To blow out the Patriots like this, even in preseason, is the big deal. The pass rush needs to be there for them to be successful in defense this year. They have struggled in the past, especially in secondary, so they're getting a good pass rush that'll help out their struggling secondary a lot. Reggie Bush, it looks like he's what Javid Best should have been, which is always a good sign. If you guys remember, Javid Best was drafted out of Cal to be the type of guy Reggie Bush is, the guy that can take the ball at any time all the way, extreme speed, good pass catcher. Reggie Bush, if anyone saw the game, had a big catch for the Lions and really kind of caught the Patriots off guard, with screens and stuff. That could kind of balance things out for Detroit, who's had trouble. They've been able to throw it the past few years, but they have not been able to run the ball. Reggie Bush could open it up for him. Next to go with the Panthers at Ravens. This was a very entertaining game. Cam Newton did improve his accuracy. His numbers might not look at it, but if you guys could tell, wide receivers dropped a lot of balls for the Panthers. That should be a huge concern. It's been wide known for years that the Panthers need to get a number 2 receiver outside of Steve Smith. Gaddis isn't getting it done. The Panthers, struggle to move the ball. They did win this game, partially because their defense scored so many touchdowns. Luke Kuechly is a freak. For a second-year linebacker, he's out of Boston College. He's a sleeper for Defensive Player of the Year. If anyone watched that game, that guy, he's got it together. His instincts are there. He's explosive. He attacks the quarterback. He attacks the ball carrier. Out of a middle linebacker, a young middle linebacker, he's as good as they come. Luke Kuechly looks like he's going to be a keeper in the NFL for a long time for the Panthers. Good get for them a 2 years ago. In terms of the Ravens, Flacco's been inconsistent this preseason, but other than last year's playoff run, it's kind of what Flacco's been, inconsistent. But if the Ravens can run the ball and play good defense this year, they should be fine. They did lose a lot of talent. I wouldn't say they're rebuilding, but they're kind of like a notch above. They have so many new players in Baltimore. I'm kind of interested to see what they'll do in the regular season, but talent-wise, they don't have as much talent as they did last year. So that'll be a great thing to see as the season progresses. Next to go with the Bears at Raiders. This is a game of a good perennial playoff team against a team that could get the number 1 pick. The Bears totally outmanned the Raiders, in depth-wise. Starters are a lot better. Matt Forte played well, continued his streak. Mark Trestman's offense looks good. Raiders on the other side, Matt Flynn got pulled early. I say arm soreness, but it's indicative. Terrell Pryor is going to be starting weeks 4 of the preseason for the Raiders. He did come in that game and led the Raiders to kind of a comeback. I know it's preseason, backups were in, but he did energize that offense. He's one of the few explosive players on that team. I feel like if the Raiders have a remotely okay season, Terrell Pryor needs to be the quarterback. Matt Flynn looks like early on preseason looks like nothing more than a game manager for Oakland, a team that is hungry for explosive plays. But overall, reflection of that game, Bears looking good, Raiders looking bad. Next game I'm going to go with is the Seahawks and Packers. This was a very entertaining game. A couple things to note here. Russell Wilson did throw 2 picks, but the Seahawks, they're great defense. That's the thing about the Seahawks. They can recover from mistakes because their defense is so good and they run the ball. They control the clock. Besides Marshawn Lynch, it looks like the Seahawks have a plethora of running backs to go to. Man, that team is loaded. In terms of talent, general manager Pete Carroll's done a nice job of stocking that team with very solid players. He really got the system that he wants in Seattle. That looks like a pretty good football team. No worries in Seattle. Same with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers only played 1 drive. He barely played this preseason, but he doesn't need to. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't see any problem with that. Good note, Clay Matthews looked very good. He got after the quarterback a lot. If you get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, the Packers defense is that much better. They have struggled, but then again, he hasn't been on the field a lot in the past couple of years. So when Clay Matthews is on the field, the Packers are a much better team on defense. That is somewhere they've struggled the past couple of years. Next, we're going to go with the Bills at Redskins. The Redskins with third-string quarterback Rex Grossman actually looked pretty good. Kirk Cousins and RG3 are out. No concerns with the Redskins coming out of this game. They look fluent. Their defense looked very good. The Bills, injuries are piling up. The quarterback looks like Kevin Cobb might be out for some time with a concussion since the new policies in the NFL. That's, he could be out for a lengthy time. The Bills, they look like the Bills. I mean, it looks like they might struggle this year. C.J. Spiller is one of the few playmakers they have on offense. Hopefully for them, E.J. Manuel becomes the quarterback of the future for them. Still could be a long season in Buffalo this year. Like I said, not enough playmakers on offense. Defensive line, it's gotten better, but still needs improvement. So, and Jerry Spurd wants a trade. Add that all together, it's the Buffalo Bills. Next, I'm going to go with the Browns at Colts. Andrew Luck, consistent, getting better each week. I feel like every week I watch him, he always makes strides in something else. He just constantly improves. Some quarterbacks, actually, they always say the sophomore slump. I don't think that's going to happen with Luck. I think he's just going to improve the entire season. He's just that guy. He's as steady as they come. It's better each week. Yeah, Luck's a keeper there in Indy. As long as he's playing well, they're going to be all right. For the Browns, Brandon Weeden did play good the first 2 weeks of preseason, but he was very inconsistent the other night. Cleveland, Trent Richardson's their big back on offense. Still not a lot of playmakers though on offense for Cleveland. Still kind of rebuilding, but hopefully for them, Brandon Weeden is their quarterback of the future. I think he still has some promise, though he had a lot of bad games last year. He also, he had some respectable games, so you got to give it to Weeden. He keeps working hard. The Browns, I don't think they'll be that bad, but then again, they're no playoff team, that's for sure. Next will be the Jets at Giants. And Rex Ryan, made that. Well, here's what happened. They first started Geno Smith, and he played a good bit of the game. He was awful. He threw 3 interceptions, I believe. And then in the fourth quarter, they put in Mark Sanchez behind the backup offensive line. And Sanchez injured his throwing shoulder. Now, reports are saying that he will be fine, but if he was out for significant time, you could automatically say the Jets are just playing for that number 1 pick. Still not looking good in New York. Everyone's saying Rex Ryan make or break year. I don't see the Jets winning many games this year. They look like a mess. They've regressed every year since Rex Ryan's been there. Doesn't look very good for the New York Jets. That's all I could say. Giants, on the other hand, Eli Manning has been inconsistent this preseason. I'm still not worried. Eli, he gets it together. He knows what he needs to do. Hakeem Nicks has played well, or will play well for them. I believe this is his contract year, so expect big things out of Hakeem Nicks this year. Victor Cruz. I have no worry for the Giants. Tom Coughlin, that group of guys, I don't think they get very hyped for the preseason. Time the regular season comes on, they want to make the playoffs again this year. So, no concerns there in New York. On the Giants side, of course. Next, I got the Bucs at Dolphins. Josh Freeman struggled again. You're killing me, Josh Freeman. I really want you to succeed, but at the same time, I don't know if he's going to be able to. The offensive line looks like it's not going to let him. He got sacked 5 times. The offensive line needs to get better there in Tampa. Freeman's not very mobile. He can move, but he needs protection. He's a very big guy. He does have some long strides, but you need to protect Freeman better. Of course, hopefully Doug Martin gets back soon. That'll open up the passing game and offensive line, hopefully, for Tampa. Put a lot of money into that roster, getting Darrelle Revis this year, adding other big free agents last year like Vincent Jackson. Contract year for Freeman, he needs to get it together. On the other side, the Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill, continuing to improve. Last year he wasn't that bad, and this year I don't think he'll be that bad either. I think he's going to get a little bit better. He does have a new weapon in Mike Wallace, who came from the Steelers down in Miami this year, and it looks like this game, same thing. They look like they're improving. Dolphins, I think they're on the way up. They had some hard times, but I think they could be. They're not going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. They could be. They could be interesting going down the season. The AFC East is pretty weak, except the Patriots. So, kind of interested to see what the Dolphins will do. Next, got the Chiefs at Steelers. Alex Smith proving he could be a solid quarterback in the NFL. No one denies that. Had a very good game against the Steelers. Chiefs side of the ball, defense has played well. Chiefs are going to be a lot better this year for sure. I expect them to be probably the second best team in the AFC West behind the Denver Broncos. On the other side of the coin, we have the Steelers, and they need to find a running game. I don't know who's going to be carrying the ball for them. They just traded for Felix Jones, but they need to solve that quickly. Big Ben can only do so much. Steelers are known for running the football. They need to get back to those ways. The running game does not look good. And Pittsburgh, also off at the line, always a problem in Pittsburgh. Continues this year. They need to get it together, but they have a veteran crew. Steelers, they'll always be in the playoff hunt, so you could put so much stock into that. And next, we got the Eagles at Jags. Michael Vick had his worst game of preseason, but he was still pretty solid. Ran the ball actually very well in this game. Kind of showing, like I said at the beginning, the team start to run a little bit of the offense they will in the regular season. Kind of seeing that with Michael Vick running the ball. He's going to be very effective in the Chip Kelly offense. Going to be an exciting team to watch. I can't wait to tune into all their games just because that's going to be a fun, fast, up-tempo team. It's going to be great. On the other side, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blaine Gabbert was out, but they did move the ball. Actually, the best they have all this year with Chad Henne. Gabbert was named the starter, but Chad Henne proves to be a solid backup. The Jags, let's be honest though, they're not going to be very good this year. They're also playing for a number 1 pick. Although Justin Blackmon though had a nice game. I believe he had a touchdown catch. Good to see him play well. He was their big investment in terms of the draft 2 years ago. Next we have the Bengals and Cowboys. And the Bengals just consistent. Their defense is very good. One of the best defensive lines in football. They're going to play a grinded out game, which they did. Andy Dalton consistent. He's just a nice, solid quarterback. AJ Green is a monster. Like I said before, Giovanni Bernard got quite a few carries. They need to get him. If he could be that explosive guy that helps the Bengals offense, that's where they struggled the past couple of years. Their defense has kind of lifted up that team a little bit, but Bengals definitely might be the favorite in the AFC North. Actually, they look pretty good. On the side of the Cowboys, Romo Des Bryant has been money all preseason. I know it's just preseason, but regular season, that could be the same. If Des Bryant's on the field, it looks like he could have a monster year. The Cowboys' defense has been a lot better this year as well. Rob Ryan gone, becomes new defense coordinator. They've looked pretty solid though on defense. They have a lot of talent. Everyone's always said the Cowboys have so much talent. They do. They just need to put it all together. The Cowboys though, looking pretty good this preseason. They should be able to attempt to make a playoff run again this year. Next, I got the Rams at Broncos. The Rams, they did get a nice explosive punt return for Tavon Austin, their first-round pick this year out of West Virginia. He played. I believe he caught one ball in this game. Not really a pass-catching threat. In the past game, he played better. But the Rams, they're built off defense. That's how Jeff Fisher kind of built that team. I feel like they're going to be solid this year. Just a really brutal division. I don't know if they, they did play well actually against the division, but I don't know if they'll be able to make a playoff run. 8-8 is definitely not out of the realm for this team though. Brutal NFC West though for sure. In this game, which is interesting for the Broncos, Peyton Manning threw the ball 34 times. That's a lot for a preseason game. Looks like they were trying some stuff out with him. Broncos have been hampered by injuries, especially in defense, but no one is too worried. The AFC West is not very good. It should be fine going regular season. When you got Peyton Manning, he always makes the playoffs, and he will this year again. Next, I got the Falcons at Titans. This game, Jake Locker had a very good game, very accurate. On the side of the Falcons, Matt Ryan struggled a little bit with accuracy, but you can't. The Titans pressured him a lot. They sacked him 5 times in this game, but it's preseason. Falcons, that could be a little concerning on the offensive line for sure. They need to get it together, but still, Falcons are going to be pretty good. Titans, they could be a little sleeper there in the AFC South. Pretty tough division, but they weren't that bad last year, and they might not be that bad this year. They could be in it in terms of playoff time. They could be in the wild card chase. Next, I got the Chargers at Cardinals. This was a defensive game. The Cardinals have a very good defense this year, a very underrated defense, especially in their secondary. Phillip Rivers, although he was accurate, he didn't have a lot of yards throwing. And this is one thing I want to touch on. I feel like he doesn't have a lot of explosive playmakers on the outside. Antonio Gates is at the downside of his career. Vincent Jackson with the Bucs last year. I feel like the Chargers, their roster needs to kind of rebuild. Is Phillip Rivers that guy? I don't know anymore. Everyone kind of backed him up. The past couple of years he struggled, but then again, he doesn't have a very good offensive line. He doesn't have anyone to throw to, so you can't put all the blame on Phillip Rivers there in San Diego. Another side, the Cardinals. Carson Palmer did not. He kind of had a game management game. They didn't really throw the ball deep. Props to the Chargers. They kept him in check. The good receiving core the Cardinals have. But like I said, a very good defensive game. It was a game that both teams in the regular season would want to play. A low scoring, kind of grinded out game. So overall, kind of a boring game to watch, but good to see the defenses play well, especially in preseason. Next is the Saints at Texans. Drew Brees played, I believe, one drive. Played great. Saints are firing in all cylinders. NFC South, here they come. Watch out for the Saints. Sean Payton's back. They look better than ever. In terms of the Texans, Andre Johnson, he looks fully healthy now. He was not healthy last year. I feel like he's back and better than ever in Houston. They need him to step up. Offense was their struggle last year, especially as the playoffs came on. He needs to be big like he was in this preseason game. No concerns from either team out of this game, though. They both look like they should. I would not be shocked if they both easily made the playoffs. So that's my 2 cents on that. And then the last game I'll talk about is the 49ers and Vikings. The Vikings were at the 49ers. Christian Ponder, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, without Adrian Peterson on the field, you cannot judge the Vikings quarterback situation. When AP's on the field, he just makes such a difference. And then in terms of the 49ers, they're looking really good too. Colin Kaepernick is the guy for them. They're gonna be one of the better teams in the NFL, Super Bowl favorite for sure. Run game's looking good, defense clicking in all cylinders. No worries out of this game. I would like to thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys check out my videos during the week, and then my preseason week 4 review next week. Thank you. Have a good day.
Anything goes, anything goes. You never know what we're gonna show on Anything Goes.